So to discuss trade issues, we have invited one of the leading specialists of sustainable development, Daniele Giovannucci. Hello, nice, thank you for being with us this afternoon. You are teacher, writer, expert, advisor. You come from Philadelphia, and you are the co-founder of the Committee on Sustainability Assessment. For me, it's very complicated to say. Did I say it right?
Perfectly.
Okay,
Perfectly.
good. Can you tell us in a few words, what does this committee, how do you work? You are a researcher, but tell us a little more.
The Committee on Sustainability Assessment is actually a global consortium of institutions that include UN agencies, the International Institute for Sustainable Development, and many other leaders that have a distinct interest in we've developed a very innovative process and are applying this process of measuring sustainability. It may surprise many of you to know that we don't know all that much about the actual impacts of sustainability. So these metrics enable us to look at not just the economic, but also the social and the environmental aspects or the impacts of these kinds of production and trade. So fair trade, bio, Rainforest Alliance, the many standards that exist, we now have a way of actually understanding them. So that's part of it. And how we operate is very simple. We actually work with developing country institutions. So we build capacity at the local level for them to be able to do these measures, and we feed into a global database that will actually be housed here in Switzerland, thanks to the support of Swiss cooperation at the ITC, the International Trade Center in Geneva. And with this database, policymakers, producers, and even consumers will for the first time be able to see and understand what is actually happening, what is sustainable, and what maybe is less so.
So before you open this database in Geneva, I'm sure about 10 years of research leads to some conclusions. Can you just give a few?
Well, 5 years. And
5 years, then?
Yes, yes. We've started developing it 5 years ago, and like my colleague, these things are not always instantaneous. Our process is one of being collaborative. We felt that who has the answer to sustainability? There's no one answer. A producer has one answer, a consumer has another, an industry has yet another. So we went through a process of collaboration, of trying to work with a large variety of stakeholders all over the world, of all different sorts, to come up with a consensus of what it is we should actually be measuring, what it is that's sustainable. And the first thing we discovered is that there really isn't any consistent high-quality data. This shocked most of us, to really understand. You know, we have an idea, we have some simple studies about fair trade and other work, but we don't really understand across countries and across crops how impactful it is, where is it great, where is it not, for example, right? So we've come up with 3 areas, and the first one, I guess, is that in general, and this is not consistent everywhere, that net income is improved, often by improvements in productivity. That's important. On the ecological level, we see consistent cases of improved resource management. In other words, less contamination of water, more conservation of water, improved soil fertility, right? Less soil erosion. These things are critical for sustainability. And also at the social level, we see less risk because producers, when they're able to work together, can manage their risk better. We have more rational agrochemical use when they learn how these processes impact their production. Right? So there are a number of ways. Diversification, that we reduce risk. So at those 3 levels, we're seeing significant changes, but we also see that it is very contextual. It's not the same everywhere. We don't have one answer that fits everywhere. The situation will be quite different in parts of Africa than it would be in parts of Asia. So it requires more study and more work so that we can be effective in our investments in sustainability.
So we are going to have a look at one example. We are going to leave for Tanzania, where the Swiss cooperation helps producers become more competitive. It's a field you know very well because it's all about coffee.